Lordy, it is hot in this room. Okay, so getting into it right today, we have a Vileplume first edition PSA 9. All these are going to be first edition PSA 9 hollows, unless I say otherwise. That it sold for $64. This is a private listing, so I couldn't tell the. Most of these are private listings also. Second bid was 63, third bid was 60. We also had an Articuno first edition PSA 9 hollow. Vileplume was from the Jungle set, Articuno's from the Fossil. That one sold for 102. Second bid sold for 100. Third bid sold for 87. Fourth bid sold for 85. We also had a Zapdos first edition PSA 9 hollow from the Fossil set as well. That one sold for 93, which was interesting because we had another Zapdos first edition PSA 9, which only sold for 61. Now, the one that sold for 61, that was a private listing. The one that sold for 93 was not. And the 93, second bid was 92, third bid was 75. So if you're doing a private listing, I'm not 100% sure of the advantages of the private listing versus not, but private listing, it seems to me, the trend I've noticed is that not a lot of people will bid with confidence. Because there was a Lapras the other day that I bid like $80 on, first edition PSA 9, and because it was a private listing, I was like, I don't know. I don't know who's bidding, who's not. Same thing with zero feedback. You have zero feedback as a seller, you know. Anyway, moving on to Meganium, first edition PSA 9. This is number 10. The number 10 is tends to be the rarer one, so it tends to be fetched a little bit more of a premium. That one sold for 177, and that also sold as a private listing. So the second bid was 175, third bid was 100. I think if you had it that was not a private listing, the third bid would have been like 150, and maybe that 177 would have gotten a little higher. Again, I like any of the Neo starters that are getting like 150 or above, PSA 9, fantastic, because I just bought that lot. We have a Yamna first edition PSA 9 hollow, sold for 96. Second bid was 95. Third bid was 88. Fourth bid was 83. Oh, excuse me. Aerodactyl. This one was weird. First edition PSA 9 hollow, sold for $33. I should have bought it. Second bid was 32. Third was 30, and the fourth was 29. So they're all right there, and I'm not 100% sure why that it only got 33, but whatever. We got a Ditto, which I would expect to get less than Aerodactyl. That got a first edition PSA 9 that sold for 39. Second bid was 38. Third and fourth bids were 36 and 20. I think these are all private listings as well. No, these are not private listings. These are all from the same person. We had a Muck first edition PSA 9 sold for 27. A first edition PSA 9 hollow, even if it is Muck or Aerodactyl, selling for $27. I should have bought that because that is a mint card. That is next to perfect. And sold for $27. Second bid was 26, and the third one was 25. I don't know. So we had I went over the Zapdos again, and then we had a high starting. Oh yeah, all right. These were high. That in that Muck, that starting bid was 25, and for this Zapdos, the one that got $61, that starting bid was 60. Starting bid, if you have a high starting bid, again, people aren't. I got a first edition PSA 10 Hitmonlee hollow for $100 because that's what the starting bid was. And I was like, because if something starts at a really high price and someone already bids, like, I'm not even going to try. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. So if you see a starting bid with a relatively high price, maybe not exactly what it's going for, and you bid that, you can get it. There's a decent chance that you can get that card just for that if you have that one bid, if you're the first bidder. We had a Nidoking listed, first edition base set hollow PSA 9. That starting bid was $350, sold for $365. We had a Mento first edition. I have no Mewtwo. Okay, Mewtwo. I have no idea. I couldn't read my handwriting. First edition PSA 9 hollow. Starting bid was $415, and that final bid was $455. Is what it sold for. I think that's worth more. I think the Mewtwo and the Nidoking are definitely worth more than what they sold for, but for right now, it's what they got. We have a Noctowl, first edition PSA 10 non-hollow, sold for $21. Had a Lapras, first edition PSA 10 hollow, only got $15.46. Third bid was $1,400. The second bid was $15.21. And while I'm a little not concerned, there's a data point. They had usually sold for between $1,600 and $2,200 or $2,400 average averages about $2,000. So to see this one after, 4 had made their appearance last week or 2 weeks ago, a little interesting to see. Now maybe it's because the market was saturated with, one after the other. So maybe because it shot up so high, maybe it's retracting a little bit. Maybe because the market was saturated. I don't know. We'll see. We had a Dark Raichu, first edition PSA 8. This is interesting also because it sold for 48. No, second bid was 47. Third bid was 42. And why? Depending on the card, I always say 50%. The 8 will sell for 50% of the 9 is selling for, but you have that range of 40% to 60%. This one happens to be a little bit on the lower end because that PSA 9 will sell for a little over 100, like 105, 108. So this one's about the 40% mark. I haven't seen any extremes with it yet, except for the... Yeah, no, not yet. I think right now we do have a first edition Blaine's Arcanine PSA 8, and that is selling for... Or the most recent bid is like 180. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. We'll see where that goes. Or maybe it's 100. Ignore it. Maybe I have to have it in front of me. We had a Magneton Fossil first edition PSA 9 Holo sell for 42. A first edition PSA 9 Lugia Holo from Neo Genesis that sold for 255. We had 4 bids above 214, and that 10 always carries a premium, so the 9 might even need to be a little higher. I'm not sure. We had a Korokoro Balloon Pikachu. That Balloon Pikachu I've shown before. There's only 81 in the pop report, so the fact that this bid was $17.50, that's what it sold for, I think it should be much higher. We had a 10 in here as well that only sold for like $320, $325. Again, I think it's worth a hell of a lot more than that. Again, I should have bought it right now. Money's a little tight. Please support my Patreon. Go to Patreon. Even if it's just $1 a month, it means the world to me. It'll help me shave my beard, get a haircut, and do whatever else I need to do so I'm more aesthetically pleasing to you guys. We have a Alaskan Bullworm? Alakazam. Sorry, I'm thinking Alaskan Bullworm. My mind goes to SpongeBob. Alakazam base set. First edition PSA 10. $3,651 was the final bid. The fourth bid was $3,000. Third bid was $3,200. And so the first 2 bids were $3,610 and $3,651. I don't think that's the price point. I think $3,900 is the price point, but that's great. Again, there's not a lot. There's less than 100 of them. It's a great looking card. It's the first card for base set. We have a Chansey first edition PSA 9 sold for $480. It's a high price. I think that's a new price point for Chansey PSA 9. Clefairy first edition PSA 9 sold for $365. And this one is weird too because it was from Australia. Or no, this one was America. So this one $365. Second and third bid were both $360. So very, very good competition in there. Now, we do have an Australian one. The same Clefairy, first edition PSA 9 Holo from the base set is on sale on eBay. The current bid is $424. And why it's $424 right now is because those Australian peeps want to be able to pay a little bit of a premium so they don't pay for the shipping, which is probably like $20, $30. And then they have to pay some type of income, another type of tax. And I think in Australia or Britain or Africa, wherever, that they'll carry a bit of a price point so they don't have to pay for all that. Now, Poliwrath first edition PSA 9 sold for $360. The second bid was $360. Third bid was $330. Moving on after that, we had a Zapdos base set first edition PSA 9 that sold for $456. Nice price. We had a Hammerhead? I don't know what that says. Haunter first edition PSA 9 Holo sold for $265. Second bid was $260. Third and fourth bids were for $230. We had a Grand Party. Those Grand Parties are basically trophy cards. There's, I think, 174, or there's less than 400 PSA 9, PSA 10 examples. And the 9 got a $430. Second and third bid sold for $425, and the fourth bid was $399. So they had a good price. That PSA 9 is getting $430. This one is one of those things where, because it's so rare and because unique artwork, everyone wants it, that they're not going to follow the general rule from WotC, like, the first edition and all that. Because they're trophy cards, they just kind of have their own thing. Because the PSA 10 one, which sold like a minute later, sold for $910. The second bid was $900, third and fourth bid was $800. I bid $600 on it. So that's what's happening with that. It sold for a little less than half. Moving on, we had a Electrode first edition PSA 9 Holo that sold for $51. Vileplume first edition PSA 9 Holo. These are both from the Jungle set that sold for $56. We had a Chinese Gyarados unlimited base set PSA 9 Holo sold for $157. I just thought that was interesting. Unlimited Gyarados PSA 9 Chinese sold for $157. So I have seen stuff that for German cards, I think they sell for more than I would think people would pay for them, but they are. And I guess Chinese is up there as well. We had a Blaine's Charizard, the big one. Interesting because it sold for $16.25, so new record price point for it. But the second bid of $1,600 was from someone that didn't have any feedback. Zero feedback. And the third bid, $1,505, that had one feedback on it. $1,350 and the $1,225, that was the fourth and fifth bids. Those had good feedback. And me with $875. I bid that because if I can get it for under $900, I'll take it. If I can get it for under $1,000, I'd take it right now because we had 3 now that are over $1,000, and they keep increasing. And we have that one that should be ending soon. It's at $1,825 right now. We have a Dark Arbok first edition PSA 9 sold for $32. Dark Gyarados first edition PSA 10 sold for $198, so close to that 200 mark. We have Dark Hypno first edition PSA 10 sold for $152. A Dark Weezing first edition PSA 10. These are all hollow, by the way, sold for $91. And a Dark Arbok, but it had that gold stamp, that W stamp that you see on those. PSA 10 sold for $86. Nice. Oh, this one. We had a Worlds promo. This is the last one I'll do. It was a Tropical Beach, 2012. This is a staff. The staff stamp has, I think, 13 copies in the pop report. Only 7 of which are PSA 8 and below. It's only 6 of them that are 9s. There is no... Do you see yourself? There is no PSA 10 version for this available. It's not available. It just doesn't come in it. It's miscut or it's off-centered or whatever it is. The 9 is the top that you can get. This is a trophy card. This is given out at Worlds every year, and this sold for $511. Should have bought it. Second bid was $501. The third bid was me at $370. I was winning in this. It was like there was someone with zero feedback that bid like $200. It was like, F you guy, $250. Yeah, bid me go to $300, $350, and I bid $370. And is that you? Yeah. What are you doing, girl? Okay, you go pick up. She's picking up the poop. I should show you my dog Roxy sometimes. Very nice. Anyway. Sold for $511. New record price point for that. I have a semi-finalist on that. There's like 4 copies of that. I have that on sale for I think $5,000. Because the staff is usually more ubiquitous, more given out, which it was. There's 13 of those as opposed to 4. And again, I have the highest grade for the semi-finalists, but this is the highest grade for the staff. I really wanted it, didn't get it. Should have got it. I did not. Anyway, guys, y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. All right, bye.